Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This year marks the 60th anniversary of the publication of Profiles in Courage. John F. Kennedy's famous volume tells the stories of 8 American leaders who put country before party and patriotism before politics. Men for whom personal integrity was more important than personal popularity or power. Unfortunately, the kind of political and moral courage that's described in Kennedy's book is in tragically short supply within the modern Republican Party. Faced by a president intent on undermining the values and norms that sustain our democracy, frighteningly few Republicans have been willing to do more than wring their hands and roll their eyes. While Senator Corker and Senator Flake have been boldly denouncing Donald Trump, they are exceptions to a well-established rule. Indeed, when a new Profiles in Courage is written for the 21st century, we can be certain that no one from the current House Republican leadership is going to be featured in its pages. When questioned about Trump's attacks on women and minorities and the disabled and Gold Star families, Speaker Ryan has been equivocal and evasive. When called upon to condemn Trump's outrageous embrace of white nationalists, Speaker Ryan has deferred and deflected. When asked to defend Trump's reckless rhetoric on North Korea, Speaker Ryan has done so enthusiastically. Earlier this week on the Senate floor, Senator Flake complained that reckless, outrageous, and undignified behavior has become excuse and countenance. Mr. Speaker, Paul Ryan and the GOP leadership are the very people who are doing that excusing. They are normalizing and condoning actions that should shock us as Americans and us as a body. But don't take my word for it, Mr. Speaker. With the help of my good friend Congressman Lieu of California, we will now read for you in chronological order Speaker Ryan's responses to Donald Trump's most outrageous and abusive behavior. Congressman Lieu, let's get started.
Thank you. And before we do, let me just first say that today is Thursday. That means we all need to ask, why do Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner still have their security clearances? But I digress. We are now going to read into the congressional record outrageous and stupid things the President of the United States has done or said, and then Representative Gallego is going to give you Speaker Ryan's response. So I'm going to start. On May 11th, Donald Trump fired FBI Director James Comey. And this is what Donald Trump said. Regardless of the recommendation, I was going to fire Comey, knowing there was no good time to do it. And in fact, when I decided to just do it, I said to myself, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story.
Speaker Ryan's response. Trump acted, and that's what a president should do. Real profile and courage there.
On May 16th, it was revealed that Donald Trump asked Director Comey to drop an investigation into General Flynn's collusion with the Russians before he was fired. Trump said to Comey, Flynn is a good guy. I hope you can let this go.
Speaker's response. Trump's new to government, and so he probably wasn't steeped in the long-running protocols that established the relationship between DOJ, FBI, and the White House. He's just new to this.
On May 22nd, Donald Trump confirmed he leaked classified information to Russian officials at a meeting in the Oval Office.
The response from Ryan's office is the Speaker hopes for a full explanation of the facts from the administration, an explanation that the American people are still waiting for, by the way, 5 months later. Explanation, I'm pretty sure there was no follow-up.
On July 17th, Donald Trump defended his son, Don Jr., for holding a highly inappropriate and likely illegal meeting with agents of the Russian government. Donald Trump said, most politicians would have gone to a meeting like the one Don Jr. attended in order to get info on an opponent. That's politics.
Speaker Ryan was then asked whether he would have taken a meeting with a Russian official who offered opposition research on a political opponent. His evasive answer, of course, is, I'm not going into hypotheticals.
On July 26, Trump announced a ban on transgender Americans serving our nation in uniform. Let me just digress for a moment. Representative Gallego is a combat veteran. I served on active duty. We know that to have our strong, all-volunteer military, the best in the world, we need to recruit the best and the brightest. To discriminate an entire class of people is not only wrong, it's harming our military readiness. This is what Donald Trump said. Our military cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail.
And to respond, and I will riff a little, the cost is minimal in terms of the medical costs. It's just an excuse for the president to be homophobic. But Speaker Ryan's condemnation of this or announcement did not exist. He responded by pleading for more time and said, the DOD is reviewing this with the White House. I want to see what it is they actually produce. And of course, that is not another non-answer.
And we're still waiting. On August 8th, Donald Trump reacted to escalating tensions with North Korea by irresponsibly threatening military action. Trump said, North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
Speaker Ryan's response in regard to a potential nuclear war, I think the president, in my view of it, quote, he likes the unpredictability side of this. That's right. Speaker Ryan thinks our commander-in-chief enjoys the unpredictability of bringing the world to the brink of a nuclear war.
On August 16th, Donald Trump repeatedly refused to condemn a white supremacist rally in Virginia. Trump said, I think there's blame on both sides, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Speaker Ryan's response, I do believe that he messed up in his comments on Tuesday. He has since then cleared that up. But Trump never clears up anything. He certainly did not in this case.
On September 5th, Trump announced his intention to terminate the DACA program, a move that will expose 800,000 undocumented young people, Americans in every respect except on paper, to deportation from the United States.
Before that decision was made, Ryan had said, actually, I don't think you should do that. However, after the announcement was said, Ryan pulled an embarrassing U-turn so fast it would cause whiplash, saying President Obama was wrong to do it in the first place, so President Trump was right in his decisions. He made the right call. Shameless.
On October 3rd, with millions of Puerto Rico without electricity or basic necessities, Donald Trump congratulated the people of the island on not losing hundreds of lives like in a real catastrophe like Hurricane Katrina. Despite massive flooding and overwhelming devastation, Trump called his administration's response, and I quote, unbelievable and incredible. He attacked the mayor of San Juan and other local leaders who had pleaded with his administration for additional resources. Trump even criticized the brave people of Puerto Rico, claiming they are throwing our budget out of whack. And I just also note that Trump was kind enough to dedicate a Golf Trophy Cup to Puerto Rico.
Speaker Ryan's response. President Trump has tremendous compassion. You can see the compassion. He's flying to these emergencies as soon as he can. It shows who are suffering from these tragedies are in his mind front and center. I'm pretty sure the millions in Puerto Rico who still lack electricity and running water do not feel that way. They don't feel that way about Trump, and they don't feel that he has any compassion for them. And they definitely aren't front and center for this president or his incompetent administration.
Finally, beginning October 17th, President Trump repeatedly attacked one of our colleagues, Congresswoman Wilson of Florida, and he essentially said that a Gold Star widow was lying.
So what was Speaker Ryan's response? Actually, we're still waiting to hear from him. He hasn't commented or issued a statement. When Trump repeatedly denigrates the personal integrity of a member of this body, Speaker Ryan says nothing. When Trump demeans a grieving widow whose husband has made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, Speaker Ryan stays silent. Frankly, it's embarrassing. Congressman Lieu, what do you think these responses from Speaker Ryan say about the House Republican leadership and the state of the Republican Party?
Thank you, Representative Gallego. There's really only two choices here. Either all of us in Congress can follow the leadership of Republican Senators John McCain, Bob Corker, and Jeff Flake and tell the truth, or we can be complicit. Jeff Flake is unwilling to be complicit. We are unwilling to be complicit. And keep in mind, when Senator Bob Corker, who is not a flamethrower, he's the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and he comes out and says that he is concerned the President of the United States could lead us to World War III, Americans need to listen. And so we call on Speaker Ryan to not be complicit and enable the reckless and dangerous behavior of our president, and that he have the courage to stand up and tell the truth and to really make sure that our president does not take our country off the rails.